know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
What is this telling us?
Well, there are several things that are significant about it. Of course, one of them is a way that colonialism tries to develop all kinds of elaborate classification terms for different kinds of people, but that's another subject. The most significant thing here is to reveal the much greater amounts of Native American ancestry that are present within the African American population than most people realize, because they might have been misled by the use of terms like mulatto and also people of color. Colored people included Native Americans, for example, in the United States area. Colored people included Native Americans. Colored people included Native Americans, for example, in the United States area.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment. What?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me get some fists and feathers in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear. And we'll go ahead and get this party started. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. Subscribe if you're new to the program. Today, we're going to be taking a little peek into some hidden history. Black Indian pyramids in America. You know, most people don't realize that there are more pyramids in the Americas than the rest of the world combined. Furthermore, most people don't realize that the pyramids that we find in North America, Louisiana, Philadelphia, Illinois, Alabama, these pyramids predate the pyramids in Egypt by 7,000 to 8,000 years. So I ask you, why is everyone trying to convince us that Africa and Egypt is the old world and the cradle of civilization when the evidence points to the old world being the Americas?
Greetings, I'm your host, Red Tail. Welcome to an introduction to the Mound Builders, the first in a four-part series entitled An American Deception. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Brown-skinned people, from very light to the darkest of dark, have existed in the Americas continuously for many thousands of years. Writer Jack Forbes, in his book, Africans and Native Americans, said, many, but not all, Native Americans were brown or dark-colored without African ancestry. These brown-skinned people lived here long before the dawn of European civilization and the arrival of the European settlers. When the Europeans arrived to the shores of the United States, they encountered a culture of people that became known as the Mound Builders. Mound Builder is a
Yes, the ancient Aboriginals of America were known as the Mississippian Mound Builders or the Southeastern Woodland people, and these were melanated folks, i.e., Black folks. All across the Americas, the earliest European explorers said they saw Black Indians. Everywhere they went was Black Indians, as well as our cities, our mound structures, our pyramid structures, farms, agriculture, you name it.
Don't go around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African, wanna be Native American, what is the name of your tribe? What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history you are creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that is wrong and is illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Deny Africa all you want. You are Africans. That is how you got to America. You can claim America because that's all you know, but the blood flows through your veins. That blood that flows through your veins. That blood that makes you sing good. That blood that makes you dance good. That blood that gives you that rhythm. That blood that gives you boldness and bravery. That blood that gave you beauty, intelligence. That blood is from Africa. That blood flows through your veins just as it flows through my veins.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
I am not a slave, I was born to slide, I am not afraid. Hop about the K, oh yeah, free to God, they went out of state. I'm a child of God, I do not belong to the United States. Fuck Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to hell, I mean school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels from. When I pull up, they peep how the roof gone. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit on, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. God, I can't stand this.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. It is your boy's birthday. We're officially 30. They said we wasn't going to make it past 25. The joke's on you. We still alive. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Round of applause for all the 30 and over people. I'm having a quarter life crisis. I don't know what to do, but we're here to bring you the content you desperately need. Now, guys, we're going to be talking about these Africans trying to force feed a false African identity onto us. For some reason, they don't have any smoke for the Jamaicans, the Dominicans, any other African diaspora people. They're not going to any of those folks and forcing them to identify with the continent of Africa. But since we're the popular ones, since we're the golden child, since we're the chosen one, since we're the globally revered, the globally imitated. I mean, everybody want to cosplay. Paul Mooney said, nobody want to be a nigga, but everybody want to be a nigga. I mean, it's a very complex situation, but either way, we're going to break it down. Now, I do have a special guest joining us. My co-host for today is Tough Stino. Let's go ahead and welcome Tough Stino to the stage, coming from the back to the front. Stino, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. Y'all know the vibes. I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm ready to get things rolling, man. What Shorty was saying at the beginning was crazy. That shit got me kind of hot. I'm listening, I'm watching. I'm like, hold up, yeah, bro. Why she sound like she got a fork in her throat? But we're gonna get to that though. Salute to you on your birthday. Salute to the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. We about to get crazy, man.
Let's do it. And if you guys are not familiar with Tough Stino, make sure to subscribe to the brother. I'm going to drop his link in the chat. This is where you can find his channel on YouTube, Tough Stino. Tough Stino, if you were to explain to the folks what type of content you typically cover, how would you describe your channel?
Basically, I just pick apart the things that people do in the industry that I don't agree with. A lot of foolery goes on, a lot of clout chasing goes on, a lot of things that are not morally right goes on. So that's what you'll find there on my page. I call my page the Czech Republic. We checking everything. You heard? We checking everything.
Hey, come on, let's talk about it. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to Tough Stino, your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, okay? And let's go ahead and get into the content. Before we react to this video, Stino, I gotta ask you, what do you think of my handiwork? What do you think of today's thumbnail?
Yo, listen. Yeah. I thought that was a chocolate covered Professor Xavier right there, champ. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a chocolate covered Professor X. But I'm just happy to be here to see the show firsthand. I'm always watching in the audience. I'm always commenting and all that. Thank you for having me. Yeah, man. I'm just happy to be here and see it firsthand how we about to demolish these people that be trying to violate us, bro. It's just a shame, bro. It's well deserved. It's well deserved.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to the chat. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Let's proceed with the content.
We have to teach people who seems to be so lost. I cannot believe African Americans, please listen to me. If you are African American and you are denying your roots, I'm talking about those denying their roots, because thankfully we have so many lovely African Americans who embrace their African roots, who knows where they came from, who are trying to go back to the motherland and educate themselves about their people, their history, and their culture. And there is a fair amount of people that also denying their roots. We are not forcing you to be Africans, because you can deny it all you want, brother, sister. Go back to the motherland and you will see that you are just like any other African anywhere.
Hey, Stino, are you an African?
No, I am not, sir. No, I'm not, sir. My grandparents come from the Shinnecock Reservation, man, in Long Island, New York. See, and like this is the thing about them. Like they always feel like we don't know where we come from, bro. I really don't get why she with that voice, which I can't I had to turn my headphones down, bro, because that voice is crazy, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's Irish mixed with an Irish twang. Sound like a little Irish twang is in there. You know what I'm saying? It's Scottish twang. But I don't know why they feel like we don't know where we come from. Like, we weren't like taught where we come from our grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents. Like, I don't understand why they feel like that.
Hey, I'm a full-time genealogist. I meet with dozens of folks a week, showing them how to trace their family tree. And when I start off my consultations, I ask everyone the same question. Tell me about yourself. What motivated you to look into your family's genealogy? And they all say basically the same thing, slightly different variation in story, but essentially they say, hey, I came home one day as a kid, told my grandma or my mom or my uncle or my dad, hey, today I learned we come from Africa. And they slapped me across the face, pointed to a photo of my grandmother on the wall and said she was a full-blood Indian. We ain't African.
Exactly. Exactly how that shit goes down. But my grandparents, like, salute to them, they always kept the heritage around. So you would see the different things around the house, and they would take us to the reservation. And my grandfather was a drummer, so he used to be drumming and all that. So they used to have us around that type of stuff all the time. So we always knew where we came from. And so her saying that with that face she got and the costume she got on with the perm in her head, she trying to fit the description. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't get why she's saying what she's saying, but we about to tear her up. I mean, I guess that's how it go.
Yeah, let's get it.
And African people in your country, you see them in America. We are one people. You are me and I'm you. Okay? And we are same. Like it, hate it. It is what it is. But my concern is that you guys that deny your roots, you are starting to create false history. Ooh, and I'm not gonna sit down for that to happen. There's nothing I can do, but I will call you guys out.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute. She said,
Wow.
ooh. She said, ooh. Let me run that back.
And I'm not gonna sit down for that to happen. Starting to create false history. Ooh, and I'm not gonna sit down for that false history. Ooh, and I'm not.
What? She's really trying to convince us that she's us and we're them. No, y'all not
bro.
like us.
Yo, bro, how about y'all didn't even want to be us until recently, bro? Yeah, bro. The different slander that I used to encounter, because in New York, right, they have certain shit set up for Africans, bro. Like, Africans own a lot of shit in New York, for those of y'all who don't know. And in my neighborhood in Queens, one of the things that they run is what's called a dollar van, right? So the dollar van drivers, they do the same route as the bus drivers, but they only charge $1. So a lot of people choose the dollar van over the regular bus.
I've hopped on one of those before. Yep.
So one of my cousins decided, hey, I'm gonna go get me the same type van, and I'm gonna go on the line, and they almost killed him. And they say he couldn't work on that line unless he African. Real talk.
Damn.
In my neighborhood, where my pops was on some Black Panther shit back in the 70s, and this shit is crazy, bro. Like, so I don't understand where she get this whole we are all one. We are not all one, bro. Y'all are not us. We not y'all. I mean, I don't understand what's so hard for that concept to pass through. It's just it's insane, bro.
By default, the first level of wokeness was being a Pan-African. We were all in Black History Month rocking ankhs and dashikis, and then it wasn't until recently we learned, wait, we rock with them, we fed the children, we sent them 30 cents a day, we had African pen pals, we used to always think poor African, and whole time they hate us. They don't identify with us. For years, we said, okay, we black and we proud. They say, I'm not Black, I'm Nigerian. I'm not Black, I'm Igbo. I'm know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation. Cuba. But now that they realize the only thing they have going for themselves is their alleged affinity to us, their alleged kinship, now they're running around like Chicken Little just because we're delineating.
I think that K9 brisket that she had for lunch is getting to her soul. I ain't gonna hold you. That K9 barbecue brisket that she had for lunch is getting to her system right now, champ. For real.
Hey, let's get into it.
I'm gonna sit down for that to happen. There is nothing I can do, but I will call you guys out because you are creating false history that can affect the next generation to come. If we don't put our foot down and stop this nonsense, it's gonna carry on, and the next generation and the next one to come are gonna start thinking that they are not from Africa. They're gonna preach that fake history to continue, and by the time you realize, Africa will keep shrinking and the people will keep shrinking. And
damn,
so you need us. So you feel pressure because where you from is shrinking. So now you want to leech on to us. I understand exactly what it is now, champ. I understand what it is now. You want, so we're not a kata no more, right? We're not.
How many times have you heard the term Makata over there on the East Coast?
I mean, I've heard my certain niggas say that shit. Like I heard certain niggas say that shit. And I asked what it was, and niggas told me what it was, bro. Straight up. I told them niggas do not use that word around me, bro. Like straight up. Same shit with Jamaicans and Yankee boy and all that. Don't call me that, champ.
And now modern day, they want to cosplay.
I pay for therapy because my thoughts tear me. They keep on breaking me. I pay for tips, they scared of me. I cannot barely sleep, but even I cannot hold on without you on side of me. I never.
Come on, I don't know. Is that Rod Waves? That NBA Youngboy? I mean,
yeah, that's NBA Akbu them. You know what I'm saying? NBA Akbu them.
Damn, I'm telling you, I'm just a modern day Paul Revere, but instead of the British are coming, it's the Africans are coming.
More than 200 African migrants have scaled the border fence into the Spanish enclave of Melilla. It's the biggest assault on the border in more than 8 years. The new arrivals, many from Cameroon and Guinea, headed towards the migrant reception center. Celebrating
the Africans are coming. Get the strap.
The latest incursion at Melilla brings the number of migrants who've successfully scaled the fence to almost 600 so far this year.
I'm just trying to warn niggas.
Yo, nigga was crying like, please. Oh, thank you, God. I'm here, champ. Salvation. Yo, listen, y'all niggas waited until, yo, listen, why y'all didn't do that during civil rights and slavery, my nigga? Why y'all didn't come over here by the tons and boatloads of chocolate niggas? Why y'all didn't come over here and help us when dogs was biting our asses when we was trying to sit in front of buses and all that? When niggas had the black only, y'all niggas was chilling where y'all from. Y'all was macking
on some Black Panther shit. Wakanda was hiding from niggas, right?
Real talk, bro. Like them niggas, please, no, we're not them. Please don't treat us like that. But now we got this shit popping, and now y'all trying to come over here. Y'all niggas risking y'all lives, bro. You saw how high that gate was, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all niggas.
Now that we paid the way, now that we built the foundation, they want to come through taking selfies through Mexico.
Migrant encounters They topped Bill 190,000
there's
people
there's a
in
selfie
December.
on another selfie. You see the wall in the distance, right?
Yeah.
So at some point they came through, whether there was a hole there or a gap in the wall, who knows? But they'll be processed, and very soon you're going to see our drone cameras overhead showing you where they assemble next.
Can I tell you something about that selfie? So last week we saw the reporter from Mexico, a journalist in Mexico, saying that this is happening a lot, that this is how they're communicating with their families back home.
Yo, the nigga got a Montclair? Nah, diabolical. The nigga got yo, cousin. The nigga got a Montclair on, bro. Bro, where you make them? Yo, listen, nah, you're
a Montclair and an iPhone taking selfies through Mexico.
Yo, these niggas came through in costume, all ready to blend in, bro. All they gotta do is go to the hood and blend in, bro. Real talk, bro. They just blend in. Like, yo, bro, where you get a Montclair from?
Hey, let's get into it.
We might finish. So I am not going to sit down for that to happen. And none of us Africans are going to allow that. Please, if you deny Africa, that's okay. That's your problem. Your ancestors will deal with you. But don't go around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African, wanna be Native American, what is the name of your tribe? What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history you are creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that...
Hey, my tribe is the Muscogee Creek Nation. Our language is Musvoki. Did I pass the pop quiz, Tino?
Yo, listen. What language do she speak? As far as I'm concerned, we started our own gang. Know what I'm saying? Like, we got our own. Listen, everybody in the world talks like us, bro. Everybody in the world speaks like us. How come everybody else can make their own patois, but we can't, bro?
And they over there in Africa speaking French and English.
Right, bro. Like, she sound crazy, bro. I mean, she just sound crazy. And just like homeboy said in the chat, she got straight hair like a European champ. Simple as that. Where's the Afro puff?
Let's talk about it. I mean, these folks oftentimes don't even have birth certificates. And I don't have to flex that I have paved roads in front of my house and Wi-Fi and grocery stores and infrastructure. But damn, let me flex the fact that we know who we are. Shit, I can trace my lineage back to the early 1800s on my father's side, to the late 1700s on my mother's side. These motherfuckers don't even know what year they was born. So let's talk about it. I mean, if there's anybody watching that has yet to do the genealogy, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Seriously.
Hey, if you're looking to get genealogy consultation, I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it was he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
evening, I had a consultation, a genealogy consultation to figure out my Native American ancestry. And I was given a lot of valuable information this evening, from the origin of the tribes to the different ethnic breakdown to how everything was ran and colonized before, the discovery of Columbus, and after, after he came over here. So I think that you will find the value in the information as I did.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. But see, I've got to ask you, since you're over there in the East Coast, did you ever feel a sense of like camaraderie with the Africans? Did you ever feel the African immigrants were on some kumbaya, we all black folks, let's work together?
Nigga, hell nah. Listen, they tight because we used to call them African booty scratcher, but y'all used to scratch y'all butt. That's not on me. We just joking with y'all. We just playing. I mean, that's a part of our culture. They mad over that. That's the only thing that they mad over. We actually tried to show them a lot of love in Queens, like, because they own, like, they parents, which is something that I need to look into, but they parents just was coming over here and buying stores and buying things. So it's like, like we had to, that's one thing about us. We always are inclusive. But when you go to their house and you go speak to their grandparents and their parents, you get to see the black on black racism. The first racism that I ever encountered was somebody with the same skin color as me, but they was from somewhere else. That was the first type of prejudice I ever encountered.
Was from a racist African.
Yes. Yep.
Ain't that a paradox?
Yes, it is, champ.
Let's
yes,
get into it, y'all.
And it's illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused. I need somebody in the comment section, whoever is watching this video, to help me out. So during the first part, she was going off on the fact that, black Americans, you don't know really who you are. You think that you're Caucasian. You think that you're Native American. You're believing this false history. You're making up this false history. You don't really know who it is that you are. But since you want to say that you are Native American, then what is your tribe? Everybody that lives in a place that is indigenous, they have a tribe and they know their tribe. What is the name of your tribe? And then on top of knowing that tribe, what is the language of which that tribe speaks?
Around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language.
Come on, y'all. I think we got to take a little look into some of this fake history she's talking about. She said we're promoting fake history. We're stealing Native American heritage. Well, I think we got to do a little bit of reading, because reading is oh so fundamental at the end of the day.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's do a little bit of
Yo,
reading,
bro, you
that
gotta
way.
let me put your face on that joint, bro.
Yeah. He about to do me like that. All right. You have my
Yo.
permission. Hey, so this text that we're going to read from is the Philosophical and Antiquarian Aboriginal History of America. This was written in the early 1800s in London, and this compiled Spanish journals from explorers or conquistadors such as Vizcaíno, Cortez, and Torquemada. Now, these accounts is when the Spanish visited the California coast in like the late 1400s, so around like 1492. So let's see what the first Europeans that came over here say they saw when they arrived. It says right here, though America possesses some dark brown men approaching to be black, yet it has been almost universally believed that there were no Aboriginal blacks or Negroes found on this continent. But from considering the peculiar circumstances under which a black race was found in North America, I hold it more than probable that the common opinion is erroneous. So basically they're saying, hey, we don't think there's like native Black American folks, but okay, we found a whole race of Black people all across North America. So I guess there are. Torquemada says the Californians showed no manner of surprise at the sight of some Negroes that accompanied Vizcaino on a voyage to the coast. Because again, guys, remember when the Spaniards are visiting the New World, they're taking Hebrew and Moorish North African guides, because a lot of these indigenous tribes in North America speak Hebrew. For some reason, these Moors could communicate with a lot of these indigenous tribes. And these Spaniards are saying that when these natives, who are not black folks initially, when they come to the coast, they're dealing with some light-skinned natives. They're saying these light-skinned natives saw the Negroes that were with the Spaniards and weren't surprised at all. Matter of fact, if we keep reading, it says that when a Negro was ordered to distribute a biscuit to the Californians at the Bay of St. Barnabas, quote, the natives seemed greatly pleased at the sight of the Negro and signified to him that they lived in friendship and correspondence with the people of his color, and that not far from thence was a Negro village.
Wow.
But the African girl says that this is fake history, huh?
Yeah, of course, because he has an agenda. They have an agenda. They whole place is being overran by China and all that. Yeah, they definitely want to grasp on to something, and you can tell that she's thirsty by how she's crying out for help. She's crying for help right now. It's fufu grease and igasu soup running down her veins right now, champ. It is.
Dang. Let's talk about it. Matter of fact, our ancestors, they had Black Wall Streets, lawyers, doctors, Black newspapers, Black leaders, Black politicians. Let's see what our ancestors thought about Africa, or the potentiality of quote unquote going back to Africa. This is from a newspaper written in Kansas City, Missouri. It says, disenfranchise the Negro and send him back to Africa? Absurd. Impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily to be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? Yeah, our ancestors were standing on lineage, huh? Our ancestors were standing on lineage, weren't they? They said, Africa, what? We're not African, huh?
That's crazy. That's crazy. My great grandmother was in the Harlem Renaissance. So like when I hear people talk like this, so you trying to tell me that my great grandmother, Vivian Schuyler Key, that was in the Harlem Renaissance, she's a famous painter, that always told my grandmother where she came from, and my grandfather and all these other people, my dad and all these things. You trying to tell me that all that shit is false, but we could trace it back. We got bodies out here, champ. You know what I'm saying? We got, this is, man, this is crazy. But I'm thankful for the knowledge, because a lot of this stuff I didn't see. So I'm reading along with you while you reading, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This shit need to be out. Y'all make sure y'all hit that share button too as well, man.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, our ancestors have a rich legacy. You just mentioned Vivian. Man, I done found her Wikipedia page.
Oh,
she was what? A painter, a sculptor, a printmaker, designer who was working in the Harlem Renaissance.
Yep. Her best friend was Langston Hughes.
Damn, she focused mainly on figurative realism. Come on. You got a rich culture, a rich history. Matter of fact, Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass had his own paper. I believe it was called the North Star. Most people don't know that Abraham Lincoln didn't give a damn about black people, and that his original plan was emancipation and deportation.
Yep. He wanted to get all of us up out of here, champ. All of us.
Right. That's right. And this is what Frederick Douglass wrote about the colonization scheme. He says here in his own words, in his own black-owned newspaper, there is no sentiment more universally entertained nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than that this is their own, their native land. And that here, for good or for evil, their destiny is to be wrought out. Identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years, this sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be, any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all, to the wilds of Africa.
Even those of us that don't know, because it's a lot of us that don't know, and I'm glad you got that consultation service out, because a lot of us don't know that we may be native to this land, but there's a strong desire for us to stay here, and it's for a reason. It's because we are from here. They can't trick us into telling us that we not from here, bro. It's just in our DNA. It's just from here. Like we from this land. This is why we move the way we move here, because we from here. So no matter what they say, niggas is never going to no damn Africa, bro. We don't eat the food they eat. We like showers every day, running water and things of that nature, champ. All right. Nah, yo, listen. I went in the store the other day, bro. And son had bulletproof glass, and I still smelt the nigga underarms, champ. On my soul. Still smelt his underarms, champ. Like, bro, y'all niggas gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better.
Yeah. Man, I think you probably got some stories growing up over there on the East Coast with all them Africans, huh?
For days.
Madness. Absolute madness. But you know what, guys? It gets worse, and it ain't never gonna get better, because we've got yet another African woman who's gonna tell us about us. She's gonna tell us what our genealogy is and what our heritage is. And by default, I know this is an African woman before she even opens her mouth, because only the African women bleach. And this is clearly a bleacher.
And look at the hair, bro. That is nothing but a perm German Shepherd tail, champ. That's all that is, champ. If you take a German Shepherd tail and shave it, that's exactly what that is, bro. Like, what's going on? Why they always talking some cultural shit, but they always got the goddamn Family Dollar wigs on, bro? It's just like, come on, like Party City wigs, bro.
Hey, let's see what this one has for us.
I think African Americans are indigenous to it.
Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry. I got to absorb so much content. I listen to everything on double speed. Let me go ahead and slow this down to normal. And Lord, whoa, them eyes are scaring me. Whoa.
You see the eyes? Like, yo, bro, what's up?
Wait a minute.
She's trying to cast a spell, champ. On my shows, she's trying to cast a spell, y'all.
I need to burn some sage up in this motherfucker. What is going on? Hey, white chick look like the Timu Wendy Williams.
Oh my, yeah, that's it. Go Wendy, go Wendy.
Oh,
what are you
shit.
talking about?
America. Okay, there's a rumor going around, and there's people that call themselves the indigenous Americans. And they are just your run-of-the-mill Black African-American people. But what they do is...
Wait, follow
Run
the
of the
play.
mill?
What is a run of the mill?
Yo, nah, bro. We got to shoot 5 after that. What you mean run of the mill?
We the blueprint.
We are it, sis. What are you talking about? Damn. Nah, she out here crazy, looking like Sandy Cheeks, champ. I'm not gonna hold you. She out here looking like Sandy Cheeks, trying to copy our vocabulary, trying to. That's all right.
Hey,
I'm about to roast fire.
Recent years. It wasn't until recent years why, when I discovered why I would see these Africans that were light skinned, but you can tell there was just something weird about their pigmentation, just something unnatural. And then a few years ago, I discovered the bleaching epidemic over there. Like they're literally stripping the melanin, and a lot of them get skin cancer and diseases, and they don't care. They're literally taking chemical baths to scrape the melanin off their skin, because that's how bad their colonized psychosis is.
That's why she got pink, but yet eczema lips. On my soul. That's why she got eczema lips. I can tell it's eczema underneath them pounds of lipstick that she got on. On my soul, I could tell it's bumpy on them lips.
Let's
But we
talk
gonna
about
see.
it. Hey, they call me the king of receipts, so I don't even have to roast you. I can just run the receipts on that ass. Look at what these Africans are doing. This is a Nigerian spa.
That's why he was at House of Freedom when he can as you can see, it's very
She's sitting in the acid bath that created the Joker.
Yo, she like a big ass oxtail right now, nigga. That's nothing. She's swimming in nothing but oxtail gravy right now, nigga. What she took.
you can see now it's filling up, and this is December period. So your instant body wash, your whitening instant body wash, it's very, very effective. Just for 30K, the result is instant at House of Freedom Body Care Spa. As you can see,
That big bitch trying to turn herself into Action Bronson. Oh my soul.
can you see this?
She's like a fucking turkey wing in that shit right now.
I got a light skinned friend look like Michael Jackson.
Yo,
what is happening?
That's a boar's head turkey loaf right there. Nah, but listen, it's crazy that some people will go that far to change their complexion, and you know why, right? I know you know why, but it's because y'all really want to be the white man. This is y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about us, but we done fought back. We done took whatever came to us, and we still pushing. Y'all niggas is ready to turn into Michael Jackson, champ. It's crazy.
That's wild. It's absolutely wild. And this bleaching crisis is everywhere that the Africans are, whether it's the Africans in Jamaica, the Africans in South America, or the Africans on the continent.
During the dancehall scene, I noticed a strange growing trend sweeping the island. Some Jamaicans are bleaching their skin for a drastically lighter complexion. But why in a country where over 90% of the population is black would people desire white skin? Join me as I journey deep into the world of skin bleaching in Jamaica.
Shit like toothpaste.
And I catch a really white color.
Hold on. Did you hear the song? I put on the bleaching cream. Yeah. I got songs about this shit.
Journey
Nah,
deep
go
into
back.
the world of
I couldn't
skin
understand the
bleaching
patois.
in Jamaica.
When I bleach and I catch a really white color, it's even whiter than the real white people, the color that I catch.
That's the thing about bleaching in Jamaica. The female, then when them see it, them go crazy. Them be like, yo, you're pretty, you're white. You're just white and pretty, so.
How often do you bleach your skin?
Every day. White like Michael Jackson, babes.
Tell her, first time I try to get white, I use that Alloderm thing there, put it on my face. And I tell her, say, give me a reaction. Make my face come like them soursop fish there in a water. You know, specker. If you ever know them fish there, specker. You know what I'm saying? Black and thing, it look away, I'm white.
Specker. Yeah, nigga, what?
Specker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yo, bro, them niggas was putting acid mayonnaise on themselves, bro. Did you see how he was whipping up the pancake batter? The acid pancake batter? Nah, that was diabolical.
You ain't
Bro,
lying.
they was whipping it up. Like, nah, bro, that's nah. Holoderm? Nigga, you trying to be hollow, man?
he flexing the creams.
Come
He
on, bro. You
flexing the
putting
creams.
Come on, nigga. You putting aspartame on your shit, nigga. You putting you putting Bengay, nigga. You putting an ounce of Bengay on your shit, bro. Letting it set in, bro.
Let's get into
Going
it.
on.
Speaking of a bleacher,
they have started like their own version of history. And what they say, this is what they say. They say that they are indigenous to the United States of America. They claim to be the actual Indians, and they just like any black people that you would see in Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, New York. They're just, your average everyday black folk. Okay, but these black folk what they are doing is that they're saying that they're indigenous to the United States of America. Now, they also, I've seen them in various settings, arguing with Native Americans, calling them fake $5 Indians. I've seen them arguing with all kinds of Native Americans, just arguing with them and saying that they're fake, saying that they're white and that they're not really Indian. I mean, let me tell you what I think. Here's what I think African Americans are. I think African Americans are Africans. I think that African Americans are Africans. I think that, you know, they came. I think that Black African American people came from West and Central Africa. And it's so hard for them to admit that they are from, and I, you know, myself included. Okay, I am actually of West African and Central African.
That's you. That's not us. You don't speak for our genealogy. What the hell?
That's right. That's right. You. Why is it easier to believe that a white person would be native but not a black person? Like, you don't question the white person because you bleach your skin, you wear that stiff ass wig that should look, yo, bro, it look like a sloth back, dead ass. Like it look like the fur of a sloth back, dead ass. Like, but you got that on, and you don't want to believe that what we're saying that we learned from our ancestors, bro. Like, why is it so hard to believe that when people say $5 Indians? I don't know. I've heard $1 Indian, $5 Indian, $10 Indian, but I know it was something where they could pay to get Indian papers, like the native papers, like, and that was something that they was doing, like that's real. So when you see these people arguing this, because we know what we talking about. Like, my grandfather is one of those people that she's talking about that would go and be arguing with people and trying to teach them. Basically,
Nobody asked her opinion, but she just thought she'd make a video titled "Blacks are not indigenous to America. There is no such thing as a Black Native American." Well, ma'am, I guess my tribal status makes you a liar. I mean, and maybe I'm lying about being a Creek Indian. You know, it's just a fake ID card, and you know, it's just all fake history. Let this self-hating, skin bleaching African tell
Yo,
it.
Mike, you want to know what's so crazy? Before you get back to the video, when I first went to the reservation, right before I got there, my impression was I was going to see, you know, like how you see on TV, like niggas gonna be in teepees and all that. I ain't know. I was from the hood, like, but when I got there, bro, everybody looked like me. I didn't see not one stereotypical, as the other lady called them, a red Indian. I didn't see none of them Eskimo niggas.
Nah.
I didn't see none of them Eskimo niggas, bro. I was surprised. Like, oh shit. Like, bro, everybody looks like me, dark just like me. All of them. So, I mean, I don't
all the Indians on the East Coast from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico were Black Indian tribes. Those Mongoloids that came across the Bering Strait, they settled in the southwestern United States. They're in the desert, the California desert, the Nevada desert, the Arizona desert. When you talk about the East Coast, the mound builders, those folks that made the pyramids, those are all Black folks. All of them.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Christopher. Christopher says, salute. Where's your Creek ancestry from? I don't know what you mean by that question. I mean, like where did they live before the Trail of Tears? Or and shout out to Dark Energy. He says, can we change our name? I personally like to go by the term Native Black American. I think that immediately delineates us from immigrants and pays homage to our Aboriginal ancestry. So Native Black American for me. But how about you, Stino? Are you an African American?
No, I'm definitely not an African American. I definitely been calling myself a Black American, though. know what I'm saying? Like I definitely been calling myself a Black American. My father was very my pops was very how you call it, like Black Power, bro. Like he was one of those guys. So I've been calling myself a Black American for years.
See, and here's a problem with that. With all these African migrants coming through, technically they're Black Americans because
Oh,
on the
my soul.
census they're classified as Black. They're not classified as African American or African immigrant or Haitian American. They're labeled as a Black American.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, one question that I had asked you before was, did we want that at a certain point in time? Like, was it our goal? And I know we wasn't alive during the whole 60s and all that, but was it the goal to have this type of inclusion, and that was biting us in our ass from wanting to include everybody into our shit?
Yeah, during the civil rights movement, we definitely did pave the way for these Africans to be able to legally immigrate to America. And we did think that they would come over here and bolster our numbers and rock out for us because we're distant cousins in the motherland and blase blase. But over time, they've done nothing but be propped up as controlled opposition, agents of chaos. A lot of these Black politicians swiping down reparations bills, you look into their family. They're immigrants. They come from the Caribbean. They come from Africa somewhere. I mean, a lot of these folks on TV, these actors playing Black American roles, these motherfuckers is African. Homeboy from what's that movie? Snowfall, African.
Yep.
Idris Elba, African. I mean,
Yep.
They just had a movie where MLK was played by some African immigrant. Fred Hampton played by an African immigrant. I'm like, what?
That shit is crazy.
Diabolical.
Once you start seeing that them niggas ain't us, you know what I'm saying? It's good to point it out.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Descent. Yeah, that's just life. You know, you can't go around just making up things. And so I think that Black people come from Africa. That's where I think they came from. When I say they, I'm talking about the indigenous, the so-called indigenous American groups. I don't say that I'm indigenous to America. What I like to call myself is a person of color from America. I call myself.
Why don't you call yourself a goddamn African? You trying to convince us we Africans?
Yo, didn't she just say that she come from
West Africa or some shit?
Yeah, right. So how like why you want to be from here so bad, but we can't be here, like, but we can't be from here. She looks like a seahorse, bro. It's kind of getting me like it's like a very intriguing seahorse right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, this is wild. Let's get into it.
A person of color of American descent. So I like to use that word, that type of terminology, a person of color from America. That's what I like to use. Now, I don't believe that Blacks are Hebrew Israelites. I don't believe that Black people are Egyptians unless they're Nubian.
Why is she lumping in Hebrew Israelites and Egyptian Nubians with Native Black Americans?
What does that have to do with me, champ? Like, what does all that have to do with what I'm talking about?
She's just going on a psycho rant at this point. And you know what? These psycho chicks who bleach like this, they're always so candid about it. I bet you will find evidence that she's a bleacher other than looking at her face. Let's go ahead and take a look at her channel real quick. Let's do a quick audit. Let's do a quick audit of her channel. Let's go to her oldest videos. Skin bleaching. Oh, she's promoting skin.
Lying.
Skin bleaching. Yes, I still bleach.
What?
Check out my lion puss skincare. What is lion puss?
What?
You putting lion puss on your face? What?
Diabolical.
She got before and after photos. This is how she looked before the bleaching.
Nigga, that's India Ari before, champ. She looked like Pam from Martin before, champ.
Hold on. I gotta play this. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that music was. We gotta wait. Hold on. Here are some of my skin bleaching before and afters. Oh,
Nah, this is the nail in the coffin right
I'm
here.
the king of
bro.
receipts, ain't I? I knew
The
we find it.
king, bro. The king, bro. Look at that.
Damn.
Went from brownie to cookie batter, champ. Yeah, it's crazy.
Damn. And that's her natural hair without the wig.
Yo, no, that's Uncle Ben's. Yeah, that's Uncle Ben's without the hat right there, champ.
Damn.
Don't do Pam like that. That's BDB, but nah. Mike, Cuzzo.
I'm nasty with the receipts, ain't I?
Fatality.
Just finish him.
That's reptile right there.
And she looked fine before. She looked like a melanated black woman before.
Talk about my skin bleaching channel. Right now, this Florida Pio 8 channel. As you know the story, it was hacked, so I had to delete all my.
That's why she got gloves on, bro.
Okay, so anyway,
because her
what I'm
hands
trying to
is
do
chocolate.
with this channel is to make it more political based, more government, CIA, that type of thing. So 9/11 truth, truther movements, political subjects, colorism, racial topics, Donald Trump topics.
Colorism and you bleaching
I'm still
is
doing the skin
insanity.
bleaching video.
Colorism and you bleaching is ins. Bro, nah, son. Yo, Mike, nah, son.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, colorism and you bleaching.
She getting rid of her color.
Political shit and you not from here? How you talk about you about to talk about some political shit and you got some Iba song on in the back?
Wakanda forever.
Yeah. You got the Wakanda music in the back talking about you about to talk about our politics.
We got to go back to how she used to look at Stino roast the shit out of her. Go ahead, Stino. Don't stop now. Tell us how you really feel. Come on.
Yo, son. Yo, she was about to drop an R&B album before. Oh my soul. She was about to hit the R&B album before. And then she just switched up, champ. Come on, man. Come on. That looked like a bad suntan right there in the before picture, bro. That's a bad tanning salon joint right there. But you can tell that she always wanted to be white, bro. You can tell, like, even in this before picture, you can tell she wanted to be Ken from Barbie and Ken, bro. Like, you could tell she wanted to be plastic. You could tell this was the aesthetic that she was going for, champ. This is just what you could tell, but this is disgusting. It's like a pretzel, champ. Like,
This is an identity crisis. This is a mental health crisis. This is insecurities. These are the effects of colonialism. Some folks can't rebel. Some folks can't remain themselves while being burdened by European powers. This is what failing the struggle looks like. We are what winning looks like, and this is what failure looks like.
Bro, you don't know how strong we are as people until you start to look outward and see how many people with dark skin from other countries try so hard to be like white people when we try so hard to not be like them. Like, it's like bell bottoms. We created that. Baggy clothes. We created that. When everybody was wearing
hat backwards, hat sideways, one pants leg up, everything.
Anything to not be like them, to make our own way, to rebel for what they was trying to put upon us. That's what we did, bro. And it's crazy, bro. Thank you for this content, bro. Like, I'm always going to say that because I'm a fan of this page before anything. I'm a fan of your work, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's this shit is amazing, bro, to see this shit, bro. Because now I'm really realizing that these niggas is not as strong as they say they are. We're actually way stronger than what they want us to believe.
And they got the nerve to talk down on us while they're trying to cosplay, while they promote false superior complexes. It's sickening. It's sickening. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're about to wrap up this stream here shortly. Me and Sino are working on collaborating together. So if you guys think that we're a good dynamic duo and you guys would watch a podcast or something hosted by the two of us, then leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the dynamic duo. But
sure.
Before we end the stream, Sino, go ahead and leave us with some brief closing remarks.
Hey, yo, listen, everybody, y'all make sure, man, that y'all this is really the only thing that I want to say, that, and I be saying to my audience too as well. Make sure that y'all support in any way possible the people that y'all voices that y'all want push forward, right? It's a lot of us that
about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
I am not a slave, I was born to slide, I am not afraid. Hop about the K, oh yeah, free to God, they went out of state. I'm a child of God, I do not belong to the United States. For Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to hell, I mean school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels for 'em. When I pull up, they peep how the roof gone. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit 'em, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. God, I can't stand this.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit the like button on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. We've got an interesting production here for you this evening. We're going to get into a bit of the hidden history as it relates to Black Americans. You know, we've been reclassified since the 1600s. There's been a successful campaign of paper genocide that our people have suffered from. And today I want to share with you a great content creator. Dare I say your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. This brother has a channel named UBTV. So make sure to check out UBTV. He creates great content centered around Aboriginal American history. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we have today. Before we do, I urge you guys to go ahead and schedule a consultation if you're interested in discovering your family's heritage. We will be increasing the rate here in the next couple of weeks, so please take advantage while we do have the prices at the low rate of $75.
I think it was very informative, very educational, very knowledgeable, because you touched on some things that I was aware of, but I wasn't aware in detail. So it kind of gives like an insight to some of the things that are going on today from history. So I think it's very important to learn your genealogy. And I thank you for the information. You're showing us how to navigate through the system. It's worth $75 or maybe a little bit more to me.
I'm glad I came across Mike. He was a great thing that I came across. He has a lot of information, a whole wealth of information. So for those of you that want your own family genealogy done, I highly recommend using Mike, because I'm going to go ahead and go further using his services. Once again, thank you, Mike. It was great meeting up with you. Thank you.
The story of melanated people here in America isn't one of triumph and justice, but rather a story of cruelty, oppression, and slavery. But these characteristics are the very same characteristics that have molded the most resilient group of people in the history of the world. A culture seemingly wiped away still evolved from the bowels of oppression to become the most dominant cultural influence on the face of the earth.
That's right. Most dominant cultural influence on the face of the earth. Guys, other cultures of people have been through slavery. We are not the only group of people on earth that have been through slavery. But we're the only people that take an experience like that and triumph. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it.
Lost in the years of oppression is the hidden true history of these illustrious people, and hidden within that lost history is the identity of who these people truly are. Unable to be hidden, the truth reveals itself within the area between the lines in the words of history. The path to truth is being blazed through our understanding of the past. History didn't begin for these people in 1492. However, the pages of history have conveniently forgotten who these people were. Or, more accurately, misrepresented these people and concealed their true identity. Europeans have always differentiated policies from country to country and consistently warred amongst themselves for centuries. But when it came to the oppression of melanated people in America, there was universal agreement. Exploitation by any means to the ultimate goal of domination. But these copper tribes from America would not allow themselves to be dominated.
Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it. For as many of people have suffered the effects of colonization, we resisted it like a motherfucker. I mean, the Spanish were over here trying to subjugate us. We resisted. We were wiped out with warfare, bioterrorism. After we got rid of the Spaniards, we got the French coming up here, the Dutch coming over here, then the British coming over here. So, you know, again, it wasn't so easy for us to be colonized. When you look at other areas like Africa, for example, they got colonized real quick. Whereas over here, it took them hundreds of years.
Contrary to historical perspective, Black Indians had courageously defended their homes for centuries throughout the period of Euro colonialization in America. And it wasn't until Europeans had infected over half the population with disease that the natives would start to lose control of their own land. Yet, it still took over half of Europe's enemies working together to obtain any military control of the land. After centuries of campaigns by the French, the Spanish, the British, and even the Dutch, Europeans would finally gain control of the land. The spoils of war go to the conqueror. Along with those spoils, the conqueror's narrative of history. And the stolen past is repackaged and reappropriated in whiteface.
And it's funny that he shares with us this image, because the image that you see over here on the left, I actually share this image with the clients that I consult with during those one-on-one genealogy sessions. Matter of fact, I have the full image right here. You see, back in the day, they would depict continents with a feminized, female depiction. Although this is a little bit blurry, the image on the top left represents Africa. That's a Black African woman with a parrot, spear in one hand. Top right represents Asia. Bottom left represents Europe. And the bottom right is a representation for America. Matter of fact, I can zoom in on the image right there. So from the earliest journals, from the earliest depictions of the Aboriginals of the Americas, which is not just North America, but also Alaska, Canada, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, we were all Black folks.
It is understood without doubt that Europeans were the sworn enemies of these Black Indians. But Europeans wouldn't be their only opposition. This European domination doesn't happen without the help of other tribes, which is exactly why the pages of history only picture a certain type of American Indian. Some tribes sold other tribes out. For fear of domination, they bowed under the sword of Jesus to ensure their survival. These were the tribes that sided with colonialists during battle and also participated in the slavery of Black natives.
That's right. Divide and conquer is a hell of a thing. You've got some tribes that chose allegiance with the British. Some tribes chose the French. Some tribes chose the colonists. There were different factions, different ethnic groups warring with one another. I mean, when we talk about Indians, it's not just, one size fits all. For example, if you look at Africa, compare a North African to a South African, they look like completely different people, different phenotype, different everything. Compare an East African to a West African, same thing. They look like they can be from different planets. Well, it's the same exact thing when you look at different ethnic groups among American Indians. I mean, on the one hand, we have the Anasazi, the Negro people, the oldest and original population. They also refer to them as the Mississippian mound builders. The Spanish called them negritos, mestizos, mulats, mulattos. But at the end of the day, there's different ethnic groups that we're talking about here. There's the original Black Indians that look like this. And then there's those native immigrants from Siberia, Mongolia, and Russia that settled in the southwestern plains that look like this. But they want us to believe that this is the sole depiction of an American Indian. No, that's a minority. That's an Asian, European, Black mixture that's over there in the desert. They don't descend from the mound builders. They didn't build no pyramids, but we did. Huge difference between an Indian that looks like that versus an Indian that looks like this. These are the true Aboriginals. These are those that were reclassified, taken as slaves, forced into not being able to read and to write. And then they change what the imagery of a native is to make you think it's someone who looks like this. Come on, guys. Who are the true Aboriginals? Them Asians that walked across the Bering Strait and settled in Alaska and the plains and the desert? Or the Black folks on the East Coast down south, from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico, who have been here since the beginning of time?
This group of natives were even employed by Europeans as guides and slave catchers. As Europeans rolled the dice in the game of divide and conquer, certain tribes would even help those Europeans raid other tribes and capture and sell any captive to a conquistador. Rival nations descended into back and forth wars of payback, revenge, and retaliation.
Yep, Stogie hit it on the head. Shout out to Stogie. TPs. We ain't living no TPs. These Mongoloid, Genghis Khan, Elizabeth Warren looking Indians, these are the ones that lived in teepees, as seen here. And fun fact, if you Google Native American teepee, you'll see an image like this. Well, if you Google Siberian teepee, you see an image like this. So as you can see, they look Asian, they got the slanty eyes. Word on the street is they came across the Bering Strait. They're nomads, just like the Mongols, roaming with the buffalo, and they live in the same indigenous structures as native Siberians on the other side of the world. But guys, it's such a mystery where those natives come from, isn't it? And just like Stogie said, we never lived in teepees, we lived in longhouses. This is what a longhouse looks like. 80 feet long, 18 feet wide. We lived in houses, suburbs, communities, towns, homesteads, vast civilizations. We're a completely different ethnic group from the Mongoloid natives that came later.
Destructive battles fostered at the hands of white Europeans. Even the tribes who helped the colonialists were eventually robbed from most of their land during Western expansion and relegated to reservations. Some of those reservations as small as a concentration camp. Any tribe that sided with colonialists was guaranteed some remnants of cultural sustainability. Any other people were disintegrated, stolen, and suppressed into oblivion.
Before we get to the Treaty of 1866, let me ask you this. What about when the Civil War came? How did that affect what was going on in the Indian Territory?
Okay, because the 5 tribes engaged in slavery from the time that they got here in the early 30s or the mid 30s. They engaged in slavery here in Indian territories. So when the Civil War came in 1861, the 5 tribes, took up arms against the U.S. and fought for the South during the Civil War. They committed treason, basically, and fought for the South. And fought it up until it ended, or until the war ended in 1865.
Okay, so then after the war ended, and now we're talking about the treaty that was signed in 1866. So tell us about that.
Okay, because
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard of the Treaty of 1866, I highly urge you to Google it. For those of us that have always heard an oral tradition passed down in our family that we got Indian in our blood, we got Indian in the family, well, guess what? If that's the case, then Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation did not free our ancestors. The Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 only freed slaves in U.S. territory. If you were a slave of a tribe, if you were a slave on a tribal reservation, well, technically that's sovereign territory. Technically, that's not U.S. territory. So the black folks that were enslaved by American Indians, we didn't get our freedom until the Treaty of 1866. And because we weren't treated as regular slaves, because we were mixing with the Indians and some of us marrying and having kids, and and not all of us were descendants of African slaves. Some of us were descendants of Aboriginal Indians that were reclassified throughout the years. So there was a mix of us mixing in with these tribes, and the Treaty of 1866 stipulated that we would get our freedom and get tribal citizenship and get tribal benefits. That was a reparations package, if you will. And through the genealogy consultations that I host for you guys, I teach you how to honor your ancestors, enroll in the tribe, get granted citizenship, so you can actually get some reparations today, tomorrow, instead of waiting and hoping like the rest of Black America is.
Session. It was a lot of informal information that was given. I am very extensive when it comes to history, so I think that it was great information because I learned quite a few things that I didn't know personally. I learned more in detail on some things that I did know as well. So I think that is a great part of the session, as well as getting an understanding of where you should start to finish. It was very helpful as far as starting off with just getting that family tree mapped out, and then from there going and finding those families within those different documents and different data systems. So I think that this was very helpful when it comes to giving me further ideas on what it is that I should be looking for while creating my family tree and mapping out my genealogy. And I truly, honestly appreciate your time.
The 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution did not apply to Indian territories because Indian territories were not part of the United States. So when Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, it didn't apply to us. It really didn't apply to the southern states because the southern states had basically had seceded from the U.S. So when he was speaking of the Emancipation Proclamation, he was basically talking to the northern states that he had control over. So when Grover Granger sailed into Galveston Harbor in 1865 to reveal to the Texans that slavery had ended, the Civil War was over, the North had won, that Lincoln had issued the Emancipation Proclamation back in 1863, he was not talking to the slaves of the 5 civilized tribes here in Indian territories at that time. He was only talking about the slaves in the United States of America. Well, after slavery ended in the United States of America, the U.S. did not want slavery to be practiced in their backyard. So as a result of that, they got together with the chiefs of each respective tribe and brought them to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and they came to an agreement with the treaties of 1866, and each tribe agreed. They agreed to free their slaves, to make them citizens, or give them equal rights, and with rights comes citizenship.
And this is a very complicated thing that I also consult people on. If your ancestor was listed as a freedman, some tribes discriminate against freedmen and they don't let them get citizenship. They don't let them get benefits. Whereas some tribes let freedmen get benefits just like they're Indian by blood. So, you know, during these sessions, it's not just about mapping out a family tree. I mean, anybody can go on Ancestry.com and do a family tree. But what it's about is doing a family tree, tracing tribal affiliation with your ancestors, and then being able to navigate the citizenship process and know where your valid citizenship claim lies. Because let's just be honest with ourselves. If we did the research and we found that our ancestors were a part of a tribe and we got citizenship, and that ended up resulting in cash in our bank account or different benefits, whether it's free dental, free health care, down payment assistance for a home, you name it. Well, goddamn it, it'd be better to have those benefits than not.
Citizenship is synonymous to rights and benefits. And they had 2 years to do it. And the U.S. gave each tribe $300,000 to do it. Then they had to do it within a period of 2 years. Well, the Cherokee and the Creeks did it right away. And the Seminoles, they did it right away. The Choctaws didn't do it until 1885. They stalled and stalled and stalled, and they finally adopted their freedmen, who were descendants of slaves. They did it in 1885. The Chickasaw Nation never did adopt. They continued and drug it out and fought it up until Oklahoma statehood.
Okay, so what we're talking about with this treaty is then giving the freedmen and their descendants the rights, whatever rights that will be afforded to those 5 tribes by the United States. By this treaty, we feel should then be passed down to the descendants of the freedmen.
Yes, because citizenship is an inherited state of being. Once you get citizenship, your citizenship is passed down from kid to kid to kid. It's an inherited state of being. So if my great-great-grandmother was a citizen, if she was a citizen of the Chickasaw Nation, for an example, in 1866, I should be a citizen of the Chickasaw Nation today. It's that way, it's reflected that way with the white Indians on the white side, because in essence, with our federal tax dollars, we are supporting the descendants of our former slave masters.
Slavery amongst the 5 civilized tribes in some cases was different than that of European chattel slavery. Slaves or captives held in bondage by tribes over time could become a member after a stint of punishment and indentured servitude. Some would replace fallen members in battle. Still, in some cases, prisoners would be sacrificed in rituals and tortured. The natives were effectively doing the Europeans' jobs themselves. For the tribes who assimilated, into European culture, their complexion would change, along with their ideology concerning the supposed inferiority of dark-skinned people.
That's right, guys. We all know the adage of the $5 Indian. And when those Black Indians were speaking earlier about the Treaty of 1866, I want to add a little tidbit. They mentioned that the Creek Nation did allow the freedmen to be a part of the tribe. Well, I'm a part of the Muscogee Creek Nation, so I've got to correct them on that a little bit. While the Creek Nation did initially accept freedmen as part of a tribe, in 1987, I believe it was, they updated their tribal constitution and kicked the freedmen out of the tribe. And the freedmen to this day are taking them to court, suing them to get their tribal status reinstated. So as you can see, we've definitely got a checkered history here when it comes to tribal citizenship, and it's a very difficult path to navigate if you don't have somebody in your corner.
Dark-skinned slaves represented the majority of all people in bondage, therefore making it an easy transition to reclassify an American Indian into a Negro or other slave.
Wait a minute. Let's do some reading, guys. Let's do a little bit of reading, because at the end of the day, we understand how fundamental, how crucial reading can be.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
All right, let's take a look, guys. And let me see if I can get a title of this document for you all. Let's see. All right. Oh, I missed it. I just barely missed it. Hold on, guys. I got it this time. I got it. I promise. I promise. Bear with me. Here we go. The limited Negroes and slaves in Virginia. Now, hold on, guys. One more time. Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm. Bam. That limited the rights of Negroes and slaves in Virginia. So if you guys want to try to seek out this document, use that as the keywords on Google. But as you can see here, we've got a schedule of laws and reclassification. The earliest reclassification that I know on the books was Virginia passing acts in 1682, combining Native Americans and Africans into one category as Negroes. But let's see what we've got here. We see in 1640, all persons except Africans will be provided with arms and ammunition. 1660, the term Negro slave first appears in law. 1661, the institution of slavery is acknowledged in law. 1662, slavery is an inherited condition following from the mother. 1667, baptism does not exempt blacks from bondage. 1669, a slave resisting his master or anyone else by his master's order can be killed, and the master or his agent will not be charged with a felony. 1670, free Africans and Indians cannot purchase white servants, Christians, but can purchase from their own nation. So, guys, maybe this sheds light on the fact that not all black folks were slaves. Some of us were free, and some of us were purchasing servants and slaves of our own. And they knew that, and it was accepted, but they couldn't stand us having some white slaves. So they made it a law in 1670 that free Africans and Indians cannot purchase white servants, but we can purchase any from their own nation. Interesting. How many of you guys knew that? In 1680, an act for preventing Negro insurrections. Slaves are forbidden to carry weapons or come and go from their master's property without a certificate. We was rebelling. We was drilling. We was tearing shit up. So they said, hey, you guys have to start carrying papers. We're getting a bit nervous. 1682. Hold on. Let's see if I can get 1682. 1682 was the last one on the list. 1682, an act for preventing rioting or rebellion by Negroes. No slave or Negro can stay on another's plantation without permission from his owner more than 4 hours, or the master what? Or the master, damn, it's cutting off right when we need it most, y'all. Right when we need it most. Let me see. More than 4 hours, or the master or overseer will pay a fine. Damn. I'm sure those laws give you a little glimpse into history.
For generations, the Mongoloid tribes admixed with the European population. This hybrid of the two races would eventually become the face of a Native American. The Aboriginal tribes have been eradicated due to disease, war, or captivity, and the only free tribes were heavily assimilated into European bloodlines. At this point, the remaining tribes would start to enact their own versions of white supremacy, retroactively banning any Negro or dark-skinned Indians from becoming tribal members through the requirement of birth records dating back 3 to 5 generations.
Come on, guys. I tell people all the time, 5 civilized tribes really think 5 most, they say 5 civilized tribes, but I like to refer to them as the 5 most assimilated tribes, because when they say that they're civilized, I mean, civilized to who? What does civilized mean? I mean, if you're a butchering and murdering genocidal maniac European invader, then what is civilized to you? Oh, someone who wants to act like you, talk like you, dress like you, bow down, and basically allow themselves to be subverted by your culture. So whenever you hear about the 5 civilized tribes, no, think the most assimilated.
Although many dark-skinned Indians had oral records, very few could produce the paperwork. Black Indians were reclassified out of recognition and abandoned by the very same tribes that they once ruled. These newly recognized tribes resembled nothing of the true past of real Native Americans, and these confederations were created to further whitewash history with Eurocentric lies.
I really liked the information that I learned today, and it really opened up my mind. Before, I have to say that I was a little bit more closed-minded, and sadly, I didn't really understand a lot of the things about Native American history that my mom was also have been trying to tell me about the people in America. But this really opened my mind, and it also was really, really easy information to understand. Even though it was a lot of information, it was still very, very easy to understand. So I recommend, especially for the people with closed minds or the people who don't believe some things about ancestry and Native American history of Americans, and many Americans in America, I really recommend that they give this a shot and look at this information, because I do believe that it's different and that you will learn a lot.
And you learn so much about history that they don't teach in schools. They're not actually Black, but they were Native Americans. But just because of how they looked, then they would reclassify them differently. Like first they were native, and then they became mulatto, and then they were colored, and then they were black, and then they were African first, then American. So it's like so many different classifications, and it's sort of like keeps our true identity buried. But this, you learn how to put together your family tree. You are actually taught how to not just put together a family tree, but to connect your background with your native heritage. And that's very important.
We are going. We too will run to Canada.
You, not I.
No. Give me a rifle. Let me fight.
You must go.
I'm afraid.
It is a journey you must make alone. It is a dangerous journey. It is a risk we must take, but do we must.
Come on, guys. This is a sick game they play. Since the invention of motion pictures, they've used it as a propaganda tool. When they wanted to demonize black folks and prevent mixing between the races, they donned blackface and acted out weird behaviors and mannerisms. When they wanted to portray a certain image or history about the Aboriginals of America, what did they do? They started dressing like cowboys and Indians. Psyops.
I do not know what will happen. Maybe they will hang me. Maybe they will lock me in a prison. What then? Once I was a great chief. I made the decisions. Now the white man makes them for me.
Indian Affairs, Laws and Treaties, Volume 2. Treaty with the Cherokee, 1866, Article 4. All Cherokees and free persons who were formerly slaves to any Cherokee, and all free Negroes not having been such slaves who resided in the Cherokee Nation prior to June 1st.
Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? All the Cherokees and freed persons who were formerly slaves to any Cherokee, and all free Negroes not having been such slaves. So this is clear evidence that there were black folks that were Indian living amongst Indian tribes that were not slaves of the tribe. There's this false narrative out there that, oh, if you say you got Indian in your family, really your black ancestor was just a slave to the tribe. No. If that was the case, if every single black person that was affiliated with a tribe was their slave, then why would it have the statute in the treaty?
First, and all free Negroes not having been such slaves who resided in the Cherokee Nation prior to June 1st. This prior statement establishes that whoever was a slave was entirely fluid and was not dependent on race. It also established that all or some free Negroes had never been slaves. Leslie Ross has been denied citizenship in the Cherokee Nation on the grounds that he's truly not Indian. Quote, "They say I don't have any Indian blood. They say blacks never had any part of Cherokee Nation, says Ross in his usually calm voice, swelling with anger. Quote, the thing is, there wouldn't be a Cherokee Nation if it weren't for my great-grandfather. Jesus, he was more Indian than the Indians, end quote. Ross is at least one of 25,000 direct descendants of freedmen who cannot join Oklahoma's largest tribes. Once paragons of racial inclusion and assimilation, the Native American sovereign nations have done an about-faced and systematically pushed out people of supposed African descent. There's never been a stigma about intermarriage, says Stu Phillips, editor of the Seminole Producer, a local newspaper in central Oklahoma. You've got Indians marrying whites, Indians marrying blacks. It was never a problem until they got some money, end quote. These are boom times for the 5 civilized tribes of Oklahoma, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole, due in no small part to the 1988 Indian Gambling Regulatory Act that allowed the tribes to construct their own casinos. The Chickasaws' net assets have more than doubled to $315 million in the 2 years since it opened the mammoth WinStar Casino Complex in Thackerville.
And it's time for us to go get our check, okay? If you're a Black American and you have not done your genealogy, then you are leaving money on the table. I've been paid thousands since I got my citizenship intact in 2021. Some tribes give you thousands of dollars each month just as your distribution from the casino profits. I mean, guys, the benefits are abundant, and we owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to ourselves.
The corporate arm of Cherokee Nation is on track to make nearly $70 million this year, thanks to a new casino in Catoosa. Then there's the Government Reparations Fund. In 1990, the Seminoles received $56 million in a settlement as compensation for the seizure of the tribe's ancestral homelands in Florida almost 200 years ago. Rick Kittles is one of the last speakers at the Descendants Conference. He steps up to address the crowd. He speaks briefly about the underlying science. He describes how African genealogy is relatively easy to trace because of the population's high number of polymorphisms, genetic variations unique to a particular group. Then he gets down to business. He shows charts indicating that African ancestry in the 95 freedmen he tested ranged from 4 to 76%. While European ancestry varied from 0 to 62%. Native American was surprising, Kittle says as he presses the slide clicker to bring up the figures that everyone's waiting for. The range of Indian blood was from 0 to 30% for an average of just 6%, almost identical to an East Coast African American population. The chatter in the crowd stops. Kittles is telling attendees that genetically they are no more Indian than blacks in New York City or Baltimore. I expected it to be higher because of the experiences you've had, he admits. Then he offers a consolation. He explains that many freedmen displayed high levels of European ancestry with the group average at 18%. He suggests that ironically, this might be exactly what links them to the 5 civilized tribes. Indians, he explains, were in contact with white colonists starting in the 17th century, and there has been significant gene flow between the two groups. As a result, many people who identify themselves as Native American have very high percentages of European DNA. East Coast African Americans show much weaker links to Europe.
And East Coast African Americans, quote unquote African Americans, these are the direct descendants of the Aboriginals, the Mississippian mound builders. They had a vast civilization that spanned from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico. When the Spaniards that traveled to the East Coast and down south, when the French and the British who came later explored and conquered, guess what they saw? Black Indians. Not no pale, mixed-in, mongoloid-looking Alaska native, no.
Friedman's levels of white genetic material may be, in fact, the very proof of Indianness that they're looking for.
Let's run that back.
Proof of Indianness that they're looking for.
Come on, y'all. Let's run that back. It's basically saying all these folks that got the Indian card but look oh so white, well, their DNA is also oh so white. And Black Americans on the East Coast, we have less European than these Indians. So what does that mean? That's probably evidence that we are truly the Aboriginals, because why would these Mongoloid natives have such a high European admixture if they hadn't been that admixed? We've undergone so much admixture, and still these quote unquote Native Americans have more European DNA than ours. Oh, okay. The plot thickens. And you guys make sure to go subscribe to this brother. His channel again is UBTV. Great content creator.
Dr. Kittles asserts that the European DNA found in Black freedmen could be their possible link to Native Americans. He goes on to state that certified Native American tribal members are no more Indian than Black people in New York and Baltimore. He leaves out an interesting tidbit of information, however. Since the Blacks are aboriginal to this land and government certified Indians have no more native blood than the average Black person, why haven't you analyzed the DNA of Black Americans and cross-referenced it against other groups? Because that information would not correlate with the falsified history about melanated Americans all being from Africa. But why would Dr. Kittles lie? Because he is the CEO of African Ancestry.com.
telling you your history and telling you what your history is and what it's not, and this and that. But it's refreshing to at least having a framework of what, your possible history is, especially like I say, growing up in being born in Worth County, that was used to be an Indian village. Indian post, and then learning that they for some reason, in the 1800s, people were removed. So I wouldn't know until I dig in deeper whether I'm, what side of it I'm on, through your consultation, where you kind of put some perspective to it. If it's like you said, if it was only 4% of Africans that was brought here to this land.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners. Raised up the children to worship their images. Set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.